Hey, today we're going to be diving into an editing breakdown over a commercial spec piece we did for Wilson Basketball. We kind of got the inspiration from another filmmaker, Rob Trent. Shout out to him. He's an awesome filmmaker. Check out his stuff. But he calls these things test shoots. And basically it's a spec piece just kind of brought down. Spec pieces can take a lot of money, a lot of crew, a lot of time and energy, but we just wanted to go out and practice our filmmaking and editing abilities as a company. And so we went to a local gym right down the street, had a crew of about 3 people, and then used Carson, my younger brother, who is a basketball player, as talent. So something super quick. We only had 2 hours to shoot it, and then I think I edited this in like 4 to 6 hours. And so check out this video. I'm gonna play it real quick for you guys, and then we'll dive straight into how I edited this piece.
Wilson signed as the official basketball of the NBA. In other news, Spalding is now the official basketball of the NBA, replacing Wilson.
All right, so starting off, I had a quick Ezra Cohen, so ezco.tv. He has a bunch of film assets. He's an awesome director and animator. We love using his stuff. It's just top notch. It's really good. It's worth the money, so I highly invest in those kind of assets, and I recommend you do too. Just with a quick flash from Ezra Cohen, film flash, and then it goes straight into a bunch of 1960 footage, quick cuts with a riser for sound design. And the reason why I wanted to kind of have these flash quick cuts in the editing is because I wanted to just make it with a bang, like right at the start, gets the viewer enticed. They're right in it and they're curious as what's going on. Adding the riser really amplifies that, and it just adds character. Sound design's super important because it's what we hear as we're watching, so you feel all of the emotions. If you don't have sound design with it, then it just seems pretty bland. So adding a riser with that was super helpful. Then it goes straight into kind of the story of it. So 1946, if you don't know this story, 1946 was when Wilson signed as the official basketball of the NBA. Then Spalding took over, and then as of a couple years ago, Wilson was signed as the official NBA basketball again. So that's kind of the brief summary of the story that we're going after, and showcasing a college student practicing in the gym with the Wilson basketball because it's the official basketball. So I had my brother-in-law do a voiceover, and we kind of made it sound vintage, but it was kind of telling the story of Wilson's history. And so what I did was just set up a mic. I had him read the script, and then I added a lot of effects to make him sound like a vintage, not a vintage person, to make him sound like he was a sports announcer from the 1940s and 60s and such. So what I added on that, and you can pause to look at all the settings, but I added some distortion, a multi-band compressor, vocal channel to boost his vocals, and then some modulation, and really got that vintage sound and vibe, and I think it turned out nice. So we added subtitles to it because it's hard to understand what he's saying because it does sound like a vintage 1940s, 60s sports announcer with it. And then going straight into the first shot. So we only had 2 hours to film this, so we didn't have a lot of shots to pick from. But I like just getting straight to the point. No one wants to watch their getting out of bed or getting out of the car or getting their bag ready, unpacking their bag, tying both shoes, all of that. So I think just finishing up tying a shoe, picking up a basketball right off the rip, you know where he's at, you know what he's about to do, and just not lingering on the getting ready part. Added some sound design of the basketball hitting the ground right there, and then it goes into him walking on the court. I didn't have the shot in there initially, but the reason why I added it is just to speed up the pacing. So jumping from one shot to the other rather than lingering too long on a single clip. So having this over there kind of filled that like slowness, and it just ramped it up. Go straight into him getting ready to dunk, shoot, all of the things. I have this one muted for some reason. I don't know why, but so go straight into that. More sound design. The next audio clip from my brother-in-law Jordan as the sports announcer, and then crowd cheering slowly faded in as you are about to show the next clip. That just kind of conveys the feeling of like it makes it seem natural whenever you fade either sound design or music into a clip that's coming up. And so another quick cut to 1960 NBA Finals, adding sound design even to that clip, the basketball dribbling, and then going straight into Carson. And we filmed him at, I forget the frame rate, I think it was 24 frames per second, but we slowed the shutter down to kind of get that blur effect. I think that just shows the quickness. This almost didn't make the cut, but I wanted it in here pretty quick with some sound design just to show the fast-paced movement of basketball. So dribbling, some sneaker squeaks on the court of him moving, going into dribble, and then going from that fast-paced cut straight to him kind of tired, like he's about to go even harder at what he's doing. Another voiceover clip, and then goes straight into another flash into 1983 update as the timeline goes on. So the story is kind of linear. So I wanted to tell it in a linear fashion with the story of him kind of like getting ready, warming up, and then going straight into dunking, shooting, all of that. Hero shot of the basketball, and what I did here was I added, I love messing around with composites. And the reason why is really just personal preference. Not everyone does it. It might be overused, and that's fine. But I like messing with it because it's an easy transition point to the next clip. And I think that it's subtle, so it's not too in your face, but it's like kind of like, oh, what did I just see? And so with this clip, just messing around with your composites, whether it's like an ad, color burn, whatever it is, I went with color dodge. I think that fit the vibe the best. So it has that vintage film in the background, and then a recent hero shot of the basketball, and then going straight into Carson about to pass to himself. So I directed this piece and I wrote this piece in pre-production real quick right before we went to shoot. And I had this idea of what if we had Carson pass the ball but to himself. So we would whip and then transition that in post so it looks like he's passing to himself. So we had him passing at the top of the three, and then I added a quick cross dissolve, and I had it kind of subtle, but if you go slowly, you can see exactly where it cut. It's not the cleanest, but when you watch it in full, it's really not noticeable at all. So he passes to himself, and then I had him shoot the ball and make it. So that took some time to shoot, but I added this thud sound as he caught it. So as soon as the ball hit the palm of his hands, adding that thud just shows some emphasis on him catching it. And then shooting, I made a cut right here because then I added on this clip a dynamic zoom and ease in and ease out. You can check that right over here and mess with the settings. So this would be a lot slower of a zoom, and then that would be a lot quicker of a zoom, and you can swap these back and forth so it goes out or it goes in, and then you can mess with these if you want it linear so it doesn't ease in or out, it's just the same zoom. Ease in would just kind of like slowly ease in and go faster, ease in and out goes fast in and out, or easing in and out. And then I had it kind of zoom in on the basketball and tracked with that. So it tracked as soon as the ball went in the hoop, it kind of zoomed in on that. We had zoom lenses, but I figured it would be a lot easier to do that in post, rather than having Alex focus and zoom at the same time. We didn't have a first AC or a focus puller or anything, so that just ended up being a lot easier in post-production. Adding sound design to the swish, one of the most satisfying sounds ever. And then going into kind of like a tease. So I added this clip right here to tease him dunking without him actually making it. So you don't get to see the payoff quite yet. You save that to the end. So showing him dunk right there, I added some film flash. It just kind of fit the vibe. I think that film flashes can be overused at times, but it fit the vibe of this video just because it is kind of a vintage throwback history telling. So going in between the new footage and the old footage, I think the flashes kind of were complementary. Having another riser here as he's going to dunk, so it's like whoosh. That was the worst way to explain that. Please forgive me. That was really cringy. And then more sound design, clip of him kind of setting, and then present year of when Wilson officially signed as the NBA basketball. Sound design, just simple stuff. It's nothing too extraordinary. The same basketball dribbling, sneaker squeaks on the court, and then the swoosh as he dunks it in there, and then goes right into another shot of him dunking. Lots of dunking because he can dunk, and it was cool, so might as well just capture it all. And then another quick cut to the slower shutter speed shots. Hero shot of Carson. I added another composite thing, and I just did an add. So it's kind of like a flash without adding a flash above it, but it kind of gives that transition flash vibe. So I just made a cut on this clip and then added the composite to that clip and then made this one normal. And then same here on the outro transition for this hero shot. It's kind of like a film flash vibe, and then going into him shooting. And then the last shot is kind of like the shot that we teased, but it's a different shot of him dunking. And then you see it go in, flashes to the logo. Wilson bonded by ball. I took this actually from a Wilson video and incorporated it into this just to make it seem more legit. And then I kind of added my own animation right here. The official NBA basketball down there, that wasn't in the clip, so I added that. There goes an alarm. You can ignore that, but
alarm?
that was my alarm.
To stop talking?
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna use it to come in.
Oh, that's fine. That's Josh. Josh helped gaff and grip and really helped with a lot of this shoot. So I'll link everyone in the description of this video. And I think that that's honestly everything. If you have any questions on anything editing related or just any questions in general, you can leave them in the comments and we'll get back to you guys as soon as we can. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to follow us. Everything will be in the description below. I think that's it for this one. Peace.